Texas tries to prove they are really back against TCU. Women's soccer has a big matchup against a tough Baylor team, and we'll take a look at some races coming down to the wire in America's favorite pastime. You don't want to miss it here on College Press Box. Good evening, Austin. I'm your host, Henry Corwin. Very happy that you all could be with us on this lovely Monday night. I hope everyone's Monday went well. I am joined by Mr. Sean Mapes. Sean, how are we doing this evening?
Doing good. It was a busy weekend. Ready to get into it.
That's right, that's right. Well, after this weekend, Texas fans have begun to utter the hopeful Texas is back phrase. Whether you believe that or not, this certainly was a huge weekend for Texas, wasn't it, Sean?
That's absolutely right, Henry. Texas hosted 17th ranked TCU Horned Frogs Saturday afternoon. Let's take a look at the highlights. He kicked things off. It was a nice afternoon, cloudy day. Nice, not too hot, not too cold. And we're going to get started with the Trey Watson touchdown. That was the first Longhorn touchdown of the day. Coming up next, you got Sean Robinson going for a deep, long pass. He finds Jalen Rieger. That takes it down to the goal line. That sets up TCU. Nice field position right before the end of the half. They're going to throw a fade right here. And Chris Boyd breaks it up. And celebration time again. And they go to the same play again, this time touchdown. TCU leads 13-10 at halftime. Now you're going to see another pass. He's going to find Devontae Turpin, gets blown up from Brandon Jones, sophomore safety out of Nacogdoches, Texas. Now you got Sam Ehlinger, touchdown, diving catch to Colin Johnson. What a catch. You're going to see that one all over the place on SportsCenter tonight, folks. Sean Robinson looks again. This time he finds Caden Stearns. He's going to return it all the way down to the 3-yard line. That sets up Texas very nicely to score again. Now Sam Ehlinger finds little Jordan Humphrey. He's going to weave his way and seal the deal. 31-16, Texas wins.
Our very own Madison Hagar was at the DKR on Saturday. She has the story.
And just like that, Texas knocks off another ranked opponent. Texas showed who the dominant Horns were after beating TCU this weekend.
And we knew, and we prepared our guys, that this was not going to be a 45-7 game. And this was going to be an ugly, hard-fought, physical game, as all games against TCU required.
After a 4-year drought, the Texas Longhorns finally beat the TCU Horned Frogs 31-16, making this the first time since 2008 Texas has beaten a ranked opponent 2 weeks in a row.
Freshman Caden Stearns yet again had himself a game with 2 interceptions.
Caden Stearns, a hell of a football player. He got great ball skills, so being around the football is one thing, but being able to make plays on it is another. He's a great tackler as well.
Brandon Jones spoke on the defensive secondary's success this game and what has changed.
In a way, it's like a competition for us as well. You know, we all love each other, but then again, like we all want to be, the best one out there. So I think that really helps us and motivates us. I think the difference between now and the past is we're just really having fun. And I think when we have fun, we're more confident.
Sam Ehlinger touched on the strides the offense made against TCU.
When you have receivers like we do and the protection up front, it's really easy to play quarterback. The experience with the weapons we have, it's growing a lot of confidence. Our mantra of 1-0, that's what we've always been focusing on since the start. We got another big one next week, and we got to keep moving forward and getting better. We haven't even scratched the surface yet of where we can be.
Texas takes on Kansas State on Saturday, hoping to bring home their first win from Manhattan since 2002.
From DKR, I'm Madison Hagar with TSTV Sports.
Joining me now are Nick Kucholtz and Thomas Fitch. Guys, thank you so much for being here. So let's just jump right into it. The Longhorns now post a 3-1 record on the season and have won 3 consecutive games all at home against Tulsa and then the 2 ranked powerhouses of USC and TCU respectively. So fellas, without getting too far ahead of ourselves, what is a fair way to view Texas now?
Well, I think the win over TCU shows that the Longhorns are capable of playing against the best teams in the Big 12. After the USC win, I wasn't that confident just because I didn't think USC was that good. I still don't. But TCU is a very good team, and that was a huge win for Texas, not just on the field, but confidence booster off of it. It's also still not important to overreact, though. Texas still hasn't accomplished anything. It's been 2 great performances these past 2 weeks, but they still haven't accomplished anything truly yet. Most importantly, though, what shows about Texas right now is that they're making improvement. Say what you will about Tom Herman's era so far in his 2nd season, this team has showed immense improvement in all areas of the football field. You got to like where you're at if you're a Texas fan right now.
Thomas?
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in this team right now. In the past, when you've looked at offensive and defense struggling, it's been the offense has been good, defense has struggled, or vice versa. Right now, both sides of the ball clicking at the same time, that's something that we haven't seen in a long time. They can get stops on defense when they need it. 4 turnovers against TCU, that's huge. They're going on drives when they need it. They had a big 6-minute drive to ice the game against TCU also. And so they're getting the stops when they need to. They're doing what they need to. Another thing, this is Ehlinger's team. He's really stepped up, and he's the leader of this team. That's another thing we haven't seen since Colt McCoy, somebody stepping up, taking the reins of this team, and that gives me a lot of confidence going forward.
Cool. So it sounds like you guys aren't so quick to say Texas is back, but you're saying there definitely are some encouraging signs for this team. Sounds good. Moving on, while quarterback Sam Ehlinger is usually the one who fans pay the most attention to, the stars of Saturday's game for Texas came from outside the pocket. Receivers Colin Johnson and Lil Jordan Humphrey each had a touchdown and combined for 11 receptions and 201 of the Longhorns' 255 total passing yards on the game. On the defensive side of the ball, the Texas secondary has been key to the success of Todd Orlando's defense. So guys, how valuable are these other players besides Ehlinger moving forward for the Longhorns?
Yeah, Colin Johnson, Lil Jordan, incredibly valuable. Through the 4 games, they have a combined 41 total receptions. Everybody else on the team combined 39. So they're dominating the receptions. They had a great game against TCU. Look at Colin Johnson, 7 receptions, 124 yards. Lil Jordan, 4 receptions, 77 yards. And Sam Ehlinger, such a vertical threat, Colin Johnson, such a vertical threat for Sam Ehlinger. He has the height, he has the athleticism. Lil Jordan, also incredibly athletic, and he's such a threat. Just anytime you get the ball in his hands, because he's so athletic, he's so big, he'll just run you over and fight for those extra yards.
The offense has been great the past 2 weeks, specifically those 2 players that Thomas mentioned. On the defensive side of the ball, even the talk of the team, I think, right now is true freshman Caden Stearns from Steele High School in Dallas, Texas. A lot of college football coaches are too afraid to play freshman players, and I think Caden Stearns is a perfect example of why that's not a good strategy. 3 interceptions on the season, 2 huge ones against TCU on Saturday. He's been exceptional. I think one day when you think of the Texas DBU legacy, Michael Griffin, Michael Huff, Earl Thomas, Kenny Vaccaro, I think Caden Stearns is going to find his name along those other names one day when he's done at Texas. But then you add in the veteran leadership of Brandon Jones, of Chris Boyd. Brandon Jones leads the team with 29 tackles, and he has been hitting people hard this season, laid a couple guys out. And then Chris Boyd, he's still getting beat, I think, a little more frequently than Tom Herman would like, but he has 7 pass breakups. He's made good plays to get back on the ball and avoid the receiver he's guarding making a catch. I think he's had a good start to his senior season. Again, still maybe a little bit of improvement for Boyd, but those 3 players have led the secondary and helped Todd Orlando's defense be spectacular to start the season.
Well, those are excellent points, and especially you, Nick, the point you made about playing freshmen. Listen, if they're ready to play, throw them in there. Why not? So, guys, one problem that Texas had last season was that they tended to play up to their competition, and then they played down to their competition. And that seems to be the case again this year, with a loss to Maryland to open the season, then a very close win against Tulsa, but then 2 dominant performances against USC and TCU. So the Longhorns now have the 2-2 Kansas State on the schedule for this Saturday. With the Longhorns currently sitting as 8.5-point favorites, fans are worried that this will become a trap game for Texas. So Nick, Thomas, how legitimate is this concern?
It's a very legitimate concern. It's undoubtedly a trap game for Texas. We have to remember the Horns have not won in Manhattan since 2002. They've lost the last 5 games there, and they haven't just lost. They've got completely outmatched in every area of the football field. Bill Snyder and his Wildcats have been ready for Texas every time they've come to Manhattan. It's also important for Texas not to get too cocky. I understand why the team has confidence. They're coming off 2 amazing performances against USC and TCU, as we mentioned. They have a right to be confident, but if they come in too cocky and too arrogant, it's going to come back to bite them. I think if Texas loses this game, it's because they beat themselves. But if they play like they have the past 2 weeks, there's no reason to think that Texas can't come home to Austin with the victory and head into Dallas the next week against Oklahoma with a record of 4-1.
Yeah, Nick, I completely agree with you. This is the definition of a trap game, going on the road against an underperforming team in between 2 games against ranked opponents. However, this is such an obvious trap game. I think the team is going to absolutely take it seriously. Tom Herman's too good of a coach to let the guys treat it as not a usual game. So they're going to treat it seriously. And this is not the usual Kansas State team, the scrappy Kansas State team that's going to win 9 games, get a Liberty Bowl bid. They may not even be a bowl team by the end of the season. They struggled at home to South Dakota, an FCS team, only won by 3. They got blown out at home by Mississippi State, 31-10. They got blown out last week by West Virginia. So while this is definitely a trap game, I do have a lot of hope in the Horns this week.
Well, excellent points. I guess we will see what happens. Well, Nick Thomas, thank you so much for your analysis. Texas has definitely been drawn back into the national spotlight, and we will see if they can continue to produce big wins. Coming up, we'll take a look at how Texas women's soccer fared against Baylor this weekend. So stick around with College Press Box.
Welcome back to College Press Box. Texas soccer kicked off Big 12 play Friday against Baylor at Mike A. Myers Stadium. Robert Trevino was there to cover this week's action.
After starting the 2018 season 8-0-1, the Texas Longhorns girls soccer team kicked off Big 12 conference play this past Friday when they took on the Baylor Bears. The visitors took a 1-0 lead early on, and it looked as though Texas would suffer its first loss of the season. But Texas sophomore Sydney Billups had other plans.
I saw Sierra, she got wide open, took that touch, and then I immediately knew she was going to cross it in the box, and just finished it.
Billups' overtime game-winning goal secured a 1-0 start to conference play for the Longhorns and the second straight win over in-state rival Baylor. Texas has also won all 7 games at home to start the year. Tonight's win extends Texas's unbeaten streak to 10 games. But for Coach Angela Kelly, the most important thing was starting conference play with a victory.
It's 3 points. That's the mission, and it's really hard to come by. It's really hard to come by. Every single team battles, and they're very well coached.
The win was the second overtime victory of the season for the Longhorns. Freshman Mackenzie McFarland says Texas's past success in OT has been huge for the team's confidence.
We've been here before, we know what we're doing, we can just go out there and handle it and get a quick goal.
Sydney Billups has high expectations for the team, and she believes the momentum that Texas has can carry them all season long.
I think we're just really confident in each other, and we're confident in all of our abilities. And we're just really connected as a team, and so it just helps us in these games when we go down, we trust each other, and it just helps us in the end.
From Mike A. Myers, I'm Robert Trevino, TSTV Sports.
Joining us now and making her College Press Box debut is soccer analyst Jocelyn Maldonado. Jocelyn, what are some takeaways from Friday's overtime win?
Well, this Texas team is clearly showing how strong and well-rounded team they are. Baylor controlled most of the first half, however, clearly shown with their 1-0 lead, almost doubled without the great defensive efforts by junior defender Atu Mashana and goalkeeper Nicole Curry. But the thing to note here is the Texas offense becoming very disciplined to capitalize on their shots on goal. Baylor outshot the Longhorns 18-13 and managed a 6-5 advantage on shots on target, which is still pretty even due to the fact that both Texas freshman Mackenzie McFarland and sophomore Cindy Billups' only shot of the night ultimately resulted in goals for Texas. Mackenzie McFarland's goal came in from a corner kick, and Billups was a golden goal 30 seconds into overtime. Texas' discipline and energy coming into the second half was what allowed the 2-1 result over Baylor.
Well, that's good. And the Longhorns are now undefeated on the year with a record of 9-0-1, including 8 straight wins. Looking forward, what can we expect from this team going into conference play?
First thing is hats off to those ladies. They're still undefeated and also are now ranked number 10 in NCAA Division I rankings. Each game will definitely be a test for this team going into Big 12 play, as they are the highest ranked out of all the Big 12 teams. In fact, their next opponent, Oklahoma State University, is also on a winning streak. They defeated Kansas this past Sunday 2-1. They too were outshot 21-6, but they managed to capitalize late in the game to come out with a win. Number 12, Oklahoma State, also has a winning streak to keep. So this Friday night's match is definitely going to be a test for both of these teams' undefeated reign.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Thank you, Jocelyn. Don't forget, the easiest way to get tickets to a women's soccer match or any Texas athletic game is the big ticket. Coming up, Daniel Shih will guide us through everything that's going on as the MLB season winds to a close. That's next on College Press Box.
Hello everyone and welcome back to College Press Box. What's better than Texas beating TCU to open Big 12 play? September baseball. That's right, just like Texas football, the Atlanta Braves are back. The National League East shocked everyone in the baseball world this season. The Atlanta Braves were given 4% chance to win the division, even though that's still better than 0% chance given to Derek Jeter's Miami Marlins in preseason. But no one thought the Braves would win the division, especially with a loaded Washington Nationals with Bryce Harper and Max Scherzer leading the way. They were given 93% chance of winning, but they just fell apart like they've always done. It's okay. The Braves will clinch the NL East, and let's head to SunTrust Park to see how the Braves clinch their playoff spot. The Braves already threatening to score. Joan Camargo with a single punches through the infield, and the Atlanta Braves are up 2-0 in the bottom of the first. We go to the second inning. It's Freddie Freeman hitting off Jake Arrieta over the shortstop head, and the Braves will score 2 more, double the lead, and they're now up by 4. Seems like they have it in the bag already at the bottom 2. We head to the 7th inning, and Odubel Herrera singles off the Braves starting pitcher. And you might be wondering why everyone's clapping. It's because that's the first hit from the Phillies that entire game. That's the bottom of the 7th. We head to the last play of the game. Mikhail Franco flies out to Ronald Acuna Jr. The Braves would clinch NL East for the first time since 2013, and they're back in postseason. We'll see if they're back to World Series contention. Other than the Braves, 4 other teams have clinched division or their wild card spot last week. The Cleveland Indians reclaimed the American League Central title as the AL Central continues to prove they're the least competitive division in all of baseball. The New York Yankees clinched a wild card spot, but lost the AL East crown last week. Yet the Yankees are still on pace to win 7 more games than Indians, so the AL East is obviously the toughest division in baseball. The Houston Astros clinched a playoff spot, but they're also 3 games away from eliminating the Oakland A's to win the AL West. And speaking of the Oakland A's, they're just 1 game away from clinching the second wild card spot. And moving on, wait, the Boston Red Sox? Oh, yeah, they won. Yeah, they clinched it, yeah. Moving on to the race of the AL Rookie of the Year award of 2018 season, 2 men stand out from the rest of the pack. The first one, Miguel Andujar of the New York Yankees. As of today, Andujar has 25 home runs, which makes him one of the 5 Yankee rookies to hit 25 home runs in the rookie season in history. 1936, Joe DiMaggio, 1938, Joe Gordon, 1969, Bobby Mercer, and 2017, Aaron Judge. Additionally, Andujar leads the entire rookie class with 85 RBIs and has the same amount of doubles as Xander Bogaerts and Nick Parkakis, whom are candidates of MVP and Comeback of the Year awards, respectively. See again, Andujar is hitting .298, ranks 19th in MLB, and he's leading the entire rookie class with 85 RBIs. The second candidate, that's right, you guessed it, born in Osho Iwate, played for the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters in Japan, now in the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim uniform, it is Shohei Ohtani. That's right, in the 10 games of pitching, Ohtani posted a respectable 3.31 ERA, top 20 in the entire rookie class, and has a K9 value of 11.0. What does that mean? He strikes out 11 batters every 9 innings, which is ranked 7th in all of baseball starting pitching. On the other side of the ball, Ohtani has smacked 20 home runs with 55 RBIs in just 302 at-bats. At this pace, if Ohtani has the same amount of at-bats as Andujar, he would have 36 home runs and 99 RBIs. That would be not just a Rookie of the Year season, that would be MVP caliber season. But obviously that was hypothetical. 36 home runs and 99 RBIs would be good if he's a full-time hitter. But Ohtani did come into the U.S. with a desire to pitch and hit at the same time. But there is a dangerous trend of Japanese pitchers in Major League Baseball having their best season as a rookie and gradually decline in performance. Most of the time, they have a less than optimal injury history, with the most notable current examples as Masahiro Tanaka and Yu Darvish, especially with Yu Darvish, who went through a Tommy John surgery a few years ago. Players like Ohtani are rare, to say the least, in baseball. He can hit and pitch at an elite level at the same time. The Angels also are exploring new territory and trying to manage a player like Ohtani. But for me, I think we need to have a conversation of how to use Ohtani the right way. Because for Japanese pitchers, when they come over to the U.S., they pitch more frequently than they do in Japan domestically. And so that really caused the whole injury, the decline in performance. And I don't want to see somebody like Ohtani, who's only 23, and is very gifted in hitting and pitching, which makes him a great baseball player. The Angels needs to pay attention to the fact that he can hit 36 home runs and 99 RBIs as a full-time hitter. That, if in the future in 2020, when he finishes his Tommy John surgery and he doesn't pitch at an elite level anymore, you have to pay attention that even if Ohtani doesn't hit is on pace to hit like he is this year, he might just give you 25 homers and 85 RBIs, but that's a hitter that anybody will want in their lineup. So the best way to utilize Ohtani, in my opinion, use him as a closer or relief pitcher, make him a full-time hitter. And sometimes if your bullpen is torched from the game before, put him in for a couple of innings, but don't make him a full-time starter. We know that Japanese full-time starters coming to MLB, they will struggle. That's it from me. When we come back, Sean and Henry will take you through all the other sports events happening on the 40 acres. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to College Press Box. The number 4 Texas volleyball opened Big 12 play with a win over Kansas State in Manhattan, Kansas, Wednesday night, 3-2 for the Longhorns' first road win of the season. Junior Micaiah White led all the Longhorns with 21 kills, while also adding 13 digs and 1 block. Freshman Breon Butler added 14 kills, 4 digs, and 7 blocks of her own.
Junior Yuya Ito paired up with Lisa Marie Riox of Oklahoma State to take home the mixed doubles title at the Oracle ITA Masters in Malibu, California on Saturday. This duo was given the top seed in the tournament and certainly lived up to it, beating Sven La of Baylor and Michaela Bayerlova of Washington State 8-3 in the final. Moving over to the John Brooks Cajun Tennis Classic in Lafayette, Louisiana, Junior Leonardo Telles won the singles pool with a 6-4, 6-4 win against Matthew Scaglia of Oklahoma State.
The Texas Longhorn women tennis team recorded 3 singles wins on Sunday to highlight the final day of the 32nd annual Debbie Southern Fall Classic at Fordham University. Sophomore Biona Markovic rallied for an impressive 3-set victory against number 75 Shiori Fukada of Ohio State. Senior Katie Paluda capped an impressive weekend with a 6-4, 6-2 win against Wake Forest's Anna Breland in Flight 5 singles. Next up for the Longhorns, the 15K Hilton Head in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
The 8th-ranked Longhorns women's golf team placed 4th at the Annika Intercollegiate Tournament in Lake Elmo, Minnesota on Wednesday. The tournament had 9 of the country's top 10 teams. In 54 holes, Texas shot 847, which was 17 under par. 847 was also the second best in the team's history at the Annika tournament. Sophomore Caitlin Papp, junior Emily Hoffman, and freshman Haley Cooper all finished under par for the week.
And before we go, let's take a look at what's happening this week in Longhorn sports. You got Wednesday, volleyball is going to play Baylor, 7 p.m. That's on Longhorn Network. Friday, women's soccer is going to go to Stillwater, play the Oklahoma State at 7 o'clock. Saturday, you got football at Kansas State. That's going to be a 2:30 kick. And this weekend, men's tennis is going to be at the Rice Invitational.
Well, that's all we have for tonight. Make sure to tune in this Wednesday at 9 o'clock for College Crossfire, hosted by the wonderful Jonathan Pulasic. And keep riding those good vibes, Longhorn fans. Till next time, I'm Henry Corwin.
And I'm Sean Mapes.
Good night, Austin.